All right, hi everybody. We're going to get started. You can feel free to turn on your video if you would like. We would love to see your smiling face, but if not, that's okay too. So I'm going to start sharing our screen, and then I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Palmer, and he can talk about the department.
Hello, this is Rick Palmer. I'm Department Head of Civil and Environmental Engineering. We certainly appreciate you checking in with us to talk about our graduate distance learning program. As Nick said, it would be great to see your faces. It doesn't look like anyone's turning on their cameras, which is fine because it may be at a different hour where you are than it is here. I just wanted to say a few things to kick us off. Are we in presentation mode? How about we do that? Okay, we're just going to get ourselves in presentation mode. Let's see if that works. Good. So the agenda this morning, I'll say a few words about in terms of overview of the department. Nick will then take over and talk about distance learning in general in our department here at UMass. Laney will say a few words about our transportation sustainability program, and then Caitlin Butler will talk about our environmental biological processes class. And then hopefully we'll have some time for questions and answers from you. I wanted just to say a few words about our university. For those of you who are not familiar with us, the University of Massachusetts Amherst is the flagship campus of the UMass system. We have grown dramatically over the last few years, and we're now at 30,000 students, about 7,500 of which are graduate students. The campus is located in the Pioneer Valley, which is about an hour and a half west of Boston, Massachusetts. And we're on a very large campus of about almost 1,500 acres. It's a large university, as I said. We have about 1,300 full-time faculty at the university, and we're very research active in general, with over $210 million in annual research performed at the university. The department itself has 28 tenure track faculty, one professor of practice, which is Dick Tooker, who will be talking to you, and then 3 research assistant professors and 2 emeriti faculty, some of whom still teach classes. We're organized in 4 programmatic areas, and you'll be hearing from the first 2 today: the Environmental and Water Resources Engineering program and the Transportation Engineering program. But we do have other areas, including geotechnical engineering and structural engineering and mechanics. The department is really full of outstanding teachers as well as outstanding researchers. And within our department, we have an annual research budget of about $13 million a year. I just wanted to say something about the faculty. The faculty come from some of the very best universities throughout the United States, from MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, University of Texas, really the elite universities of this country. And this is just a snapshot of the faculty currently in our department. I wanted to say a couple other things. The University of Massachusetts is a very well-respected state university. We rank 26th out of 700 public universities. And that's of the brand new and newest U.S. News and World Report evaluation. Did we lose something? So we may have lost our video. It would be great if someone could let us know whether the video seemed to have gone off.
It looks like it's paused.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go to the next slide and see whether can you?
Are they seeing the slides?
Yeah, are you seeing the slides?
You've advanced in the slides. Yep.
Good. Okay, great. That seems to be working. Great. Okay. And though, again, for those of you who didn't, uh, for those of you who are not familiar with the area, there's just three quick shots here. One of the first two of a portion of the campus, and then the third shot of the Pioneer Valley itself, which is a agricultural area, and the river you see is the Connecticut River. I wanted to say one other thing about the department before I close. The number of graduate students that we have in residence has grown consistently since about 2008. Currently, we have over 120 graduate students on campus in our program, and those are pretty equally divided between master's students and PhD students. And after this decade of growth and success and on our students on this campus, we really now are quite interested in turning our attention to expanding the number of students that we have in terms of online students. And so we're really excited to have you on the phone today to discuss this. Nick?
All right. So with our online learning here in the Civil and Environmental Department, we've really tried to design the experience thinking about working professionals. And so you'll hear Eleni talk about her class, and it's being offered in the evening so that folks who are working full-time can also be taking that class. And part of it is, and one of the options for that is to be able to take the class at our Newton campus, which used to be the Mount Ida campus. And so we really tried to think about people who are working full-time and are taking classes part-time. Wanted to note that if you get a degree from our online program, it was exactly the same degree as the in-person students would get. Rick already talked about our world-class faculty, but I just wanted to make sure to note that, including some recent awards for teaching from our faculty, including Caitlin Butler, who just won a very excellent teaching award from the Association of Environmental Engineering and Science Professors for her work in teaching. Also worthwhile to know that for a coursework-based master's degree, our cost is very reasonable. You can do an entire master's degree for less than $20,000, which is less than half of the cost of some of the other schools in state here that are at private institutions that will remain unnamed. So sort of related a little more generally to what you can do here, you're allowed to take a single course online with no other obligation. So you sign up for the class, you take it, you pay for it, and you don't really have an obligation. You don't have to sign up for the master's degree program or anything like that. So you can see it, test it out, see if you like it. We're also planning to offer additional courses starting in beyond the fall. So we'll be offering classes in the spring and planning to offer at least one in the summer as well. And then the last little bit that I have here is that registration for these online courses begins in June. So, and that would be for the fall semester. So it's a little later than the typical schedule that we have for registration for classes, but just for these online ones, it starts in June. So I'm gonna pass it over to Eleni right now, and she's gonna talk about her class.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. My name is Eleni Christophe, and I'm an assistant professor here at the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. This is the end of my 7th year, I think. Yeah, I lost track. So this is a class I introduced when I was hired, and it focuses on transportation sustainability, as the title indicates. It's offered at 2 levels, so the 500 level and the 600 level. And it's essentially an overview of sustainable transportation planning practices and management strategies and policies. Some of the topics that are included in the class, you can see here in the bulleted list. So we talk about alternative fuel types and alternative vehicle technologies, models that we can use for emissions, for transportation-related emissions. I'm adding some new things compared to last time I taught the class, and that includes health assessment of transportation projects, and also micromobility, so scooters, bike sharing, all those fun new modes that have come out. And then we also talk about pricing, demand management in general, complete street elements, and also we're focusing a lot on bike and pedestrian infrastructure. And all those topics, we're looking at them through the social, environmental, and economic lens to capture all three aspects of sustainability. Some specific tools, in case those are motivating factors to sign up for my class. We will be learning how to use EPA's MOVES model for modeling vehicle emissions, the economic input-output life cycle assessment model that Carnegie Mellon has developed, and also Department of Transportation project scoring frameworks and transportation sustainability rating programs that are used in our country for assessing transportation projects.
Hi, and I'm Caitlin Butler. I'm an associate professor in the department, and I've been here for almost 8 years. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a class that I've taught many times in my tenure here. And it's environmental biological processes. And the idea behind the class is really to build the foundational and fundamental science and engineering that goes into engineering process design for biological processes. So we learn a lot about environmental microbiology, the thermodynamics of those microorganisms, and how that drives treatment of contaminants in wastewaters, and then also the microbial kinetics of those bacteria and how fast they can remove those contaminants. But a topic dear to my heart is biofilm kinetics. So how does that change when diffusion is limiting the treatment performance? And then we take all of that foundational fundamental knowledge and we apply it to process design. And specifically, we look at the activated sludge process, which is kind of the backbone of conventional wastewater treatment. We look at biofilm processes, both in wastewater and water, as well as nitrogen removal, including nitrification and denatrification, and biological phosphorus removal, generally applied to wastewater treatment, but we also explore the topics of applied microbiology in other systems as well. So an example of what we do in class is we really look at the microorganisms that are present. You can see in the picture all the way on the left, that's a nice biofilm. We apply fundamental mass transfer expressions to the system to marry the kinetics of the microorganisms with the diffusion and transport in the system, and then we can apply it to the full-scale systems that are used in process design. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about the class or what we do in the class or how I teach the class, and I'll leave that there.
Great. And I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to stop sharing my screen now. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna unplug this.
In the chat,
There's two messages
There's
in the
two
chat,
chats.
so we should maybe.
Okay. It's gonna switch. Okay, so I've switched the video now so that hopefully you can see at least some of us. But we're happy to take your questions now. And you can type them in or you can ask them. And if you have questions about, you have to unmute yourself if you're going to ask a question, yes.
There you go.
Could you go into more detail about? Okay, so someone was asking more about more detail about the classes that are being held on the Newton campus. So Eleni's class is going to be offered as what we call a synchronous class. So it will be offered. You can take it here in Amherst. You can also sit in a classroom at the Newton campus and watch and participate in that, or you will be able to watch it from home and be able to participate that way as well.
Maybe he's asking if there's gonna be more.
Did that answer your question? Cool. Yeah, go ahead. One more question. If someone else has one, now feel free to. Will we be able to get the entire degree online? That's a really good question. I think that is our goal. We are going to slowly start offering these classes and roll them out so that we can maintain a good high quality of the classes that you're taking. So I think the long-term goal is to eventually be able to offer the full master's degree online. It's just, it will take a little bit of time to get all of the classes available.
He's asking what time this is in the
Oh,
Is it
do you
5:30?
remember?
5:30, yeah.
5:30. So it's gonna be, David, it's gonna be on Mondays, 5:30 until 8, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8:30.
So 1 day a week.
One day a week, yeah,
One day a
five,
week.
5:30 to 8, I thought it was. Yeah, 5:30 to 8 p.m. on Mondays. I wonder if people are talking and we just can't hear them? Is it supposed to come through here?
It should come through your computer. You unplug
It
the
come
Apple
through
thing, right? Unless your volume is not.
No,
Is the volume turned up on the TV?
Oh, it says mute.
No, but your computer, it's in.
Yeah,
That's right.
but the volume is going to come through the TV.
You might want to check the settings and make sure you're on your computer, it recognizes a speaker on the TV. This seems to be a problem in class sometimes when I'm trying to get the speakers to work from my
Cool. I don't know how to do that.
Let's ask Bill to type in this question.
Yeah. Bill, can you go ahead and type? Oh, you're muted still. If you have a question, it looks like you're trying to talk, but we can't tell.
Is he still muted?
Are there requirements to get? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The answer to your question about whether or not the requirements to get into the program is the same as the on-campus program, the answer is yes. The requirements are the same because the degree in the program is the same. It's just we're able to now offer the class in a different mode so that more people can take it. Yeah, some people signed off.
So we could just invite them to write, email you with it.
Yeah, if any of you have other questions, you can always feel free to email me. And I will have Jody send that out to include that in our follow-up email. So you can feel free to reach out to me with other questions. Cool.
Yeah, one of them is, yeah. It's just another.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay. Any other questions? This is your last chance.
Or email.
Or you can send them to me by email. That's fine too. Great. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.